Oh, all right. Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Sorry, Dad.
We are recording though, so
All right.
whenever you guys need to jump.
Oh, yes. Welcome back. Special episode of the Say Less Footy podcast is our Origin special. We're going to go through the teams. It's Origin's a week away, and I also want to talk about our favourite Origin eras, maybe even what brought us into like our love of State of Origin. I mean, we all love rugby league, but I think just our different sort of ages is also going to sort of bring something to the table of like, you know, our favourite sort of era, our favourite players. The boys are here as usual with me.
Yo.
But yeah, I'd like to start with that and just sort of talk about our favourite sort of Origin eras, our Origin memories, and then we'll get on to, and we'll break down the team list. Obviously, like I said, it's a week away, so the team list may change, but I think the bulk of it's going to be the same. Yeah. There could be some small changes, but yeah, it's two very strong teams picked.
Let's go from oldest to youngest. We'll start from the earlier years.
Oh,
to
100%.
back
Yeah,
to
yeah,
my
yeah.
years.
Let's start to the early
Yeah.
years. And yeah, so
Give us a bit of info.
let's start with me. So I think I was actually really happy about watching the face-to-face on Fox. It was Yvonne Sampson with the king of rugby league, the king of Queensland, Wally Lewis, the great Wally Lewis, and watching that, and it sort of brought back a lot of nostalgia of me as a kid, and sort of I think we would not have. Origin would not be what it is today without Wally Lewis, the king of Lang Park. He was just all heart. He would run through a brick wall for his teammates, and just like watching the sort of the highlights of him talking about his last Origin and sort of what he went through. It was just some of the iconic moments is when he got sent off. With another Queensland player, another New South Wales player, and all the Queensland fans were throwing beer cans onto the field.
Crazy.
The ref almost had to get a police escort out there. His face-off against Mark Geyer and what's his name? I think David Manson, the referee, jumping in between. There's so many iconic moments. Like the try he scored, I think was in the '89 series to win the series. He got given the captaincy in 1981 as a 21-year-old. Like Wally Lewis, the absolute king of Origin. I think I was into Origin before I was into NRL or whatever it was back then, and he just had so much heart and was just, you know, coming from. It was really Queensland versus New South Wales back then because it was New South Wales Rugby League, and then in Queensland, well, we had the BRL, and that sort of, you know, you'd have players from Wynnum and Valleys, and all the teams East, North, all playing in that Queensland sort of team, and just it really was the State of Origin back then. Like it was just there was the Blues were amazing, like the fights were amazing. I should say.
That would have been sick to watch.
It was just a different time, and like that was the foundation for what we have today.
Yeah.
100%.
For sure.
Even just the nitty grittiness of all the games back then, the fighting, like you couldn't come off the field without a fight. Basically,
It was so good.
my old boy would tell me you wouldn't come off the field without a fight. You'd have to get into a fight. You wouldn't come off the field with a blood nose. If you're not throwing up with a blood nose, like you haven't done enough work.
Yeah, you had to be able to throw them back then. Like Origin was for the hard men. Like now you can get little yappy blokes that know they're not going to get punched in the mouth
And milking everything.
I don't want to see the people laying down for penalties in Origin. That's just going to absolutely kill me this year.
100%.
All right, let's move on. Obviously, 80s, 90s, great era. But Brendo, let's move on to your era of Origin.
Yeah, we're coming into the early 2000s era. I think my first ever Origin game, for me, the most memorable player was Darren Lockyer.
Sick.
Darren Lockyer was just a beast. It always looks, in my head, as a kid watching him play, I thought there was a higher power pushing him through all these holes. He was constantly hitting gaps. He just looked phenomenal. No one could touch him. Nobody could lay a hand on him. And then, you know, coming off the back of that, we had the Jonathan Thurston era. Jonathan Thurston, Greg Inglis. You got Billy Slater. You had Darius Boyd, Dane Gagai, Cooper Cronk, Matthew
Cam Smith,
Scott,
baby.
Cam Smith, Nate Miles. Like Sam Thaiday, man, those were the days.
Yeah.
For me
Love
growing
that.
up as a teenager, those were the absolute days. Watching those games, watching those boys absolutely destroy Paul Gallen and the Blues with Paul Gallen and Nate Miles, like the cheeky one-off punches or jersey punches, and then the actual 1-2 go, like. Yeah, that was footy. It was obviously coming off the back of the hard man's era. So there was still a lot of that grunt and a lot of that push in there. And obviously the Queensland had a very long-standing win streak during that era as well.
8 in a row, mate. 8 in a row.
8 in a row. And I think Darren Lockie's last Origin game was 2011. So coming off the back of that, it was just win, 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 win.
Crazy.
Win. Yeah. It's fucking unreal.
Yeah, Preston.
Well, my era started around when Cooper Cronk and JT and all that came in. Like I remember, because I grew up in Melbourne, so league wasn't very big in Melbourne. But one thing that was always big was State of Origin. No matter what, everyone would rock up to school and be talking about it, and no one knew league. No one, only knew players from State of Origin. And as a Storm fan especially, like, you had Billy Slater, Cam Smith, Cooper Cronk in that team, and then obviously Felice Kafusi was in there as well when I was still first started watching. I had to go for Queensland. It was a must. So, and I just remember it would hit Wednesday. I was during school and I'd be hyped. I'd be so excited to go home and watch the Origin game. Me and my two little brothers would be sitting there watching it together, and it was just always exciting. Like my whole family, actually, not just me and my brother, my whole family would all be sitting on the couch watching the game. As soon as a try happened, jumped straight up the couch, grabbing each other, shaking each other around. Like it was just energy. And it was just a game, But to us, it was, we were all together and really enjoying it. And I was Cam Munster came onto the scene. I remember as soon as Munster would grab the ball, we'd be like, oh, yo, here we go. Like those are the exciting times that make Origin special, you know what I mean? It does bring people together. Like all the boys come over for a drink to watch the Origin game, or you all hang out with your family to watch the Origin game, or something like that, or you go to the pub, whatever. It brings people together, and the energy behind it, it's just so much fun to watch. And obviously we love you love the biff and you love the contact and all that, but the passion behind being a big supporter of, say, Queensland or the Blues, there's a lot of passion behind it. I remember I hated Fafita and Aaron Woods growing up. I hated them just because they were the Blues props, you know what I mean? And they played 2 series maybe, but I hated them. So it was just, you know what I mean? The passion behind it, and it's just so much fun. And even obviously Origin coming up, I'm excited for that as well. I'm excited to go watch the game at Mum's house and get really excited for it. But around my era, I got the late end of Billy Slater, JT and all that, and then I've got what we got now with DC, Cam Munster. But man, Cameron Munster, every time he puts that maroon jersey on, he's on. But yeah, it's always exciting to watch Origin series.
I love how you hyped that, because I was just as you're describing it, sort of when you're younger and you sort of you watch it, and it's like the shots that they do on Channel 9, where they'd be you'd have a shot of the stadium, and then all the crowd getting hype, and maybe Gus Gould comes on and does his little pre sort of match sort of talk. It was built up so well, and that first collision off the kickoff,
Just the energy, it's just crazy.
and it's gone across all the eras.
Yeah.
It's it's still. And I love it. Growing up in Melbourne kids are talking about Origin. It's growing the game, and I think it's a clear indication why we're taking the third Origin game to the other states, because it's building our brand.
We used to go to school and we used to beef about it. It was hilarious. I'd come to school on a Thursday morning, go to all the Blues supporters, NY, give it to them, bro. No, it was good. It was good fun. But yeah, it's the passion is. And as we see, through all of our generations, the passion is always there behind the jerseys. And it's crazy just to think of how long it's going for.
Just on the hype on passion, obviously there's a lot of controversy between Queensland passion and New South Wales passion. I've grown up majority of my life in Queensland, and after school I moved to Sydney for a few years to go down there and play some footy, fortunate enough. And the passion that they have down there, I obviously growing up here, you're watching it at school, you're watching it with all your mates. You've got all these Queensland supporters around. You might have 1 or 2 or 3 Blues supporters around that group that you're watching it with. Down there, it's a whole different ballgame. I'd never felt that before. A whole pub's worth of New South Wales supporters, and you got three Queensland jerseys in there, me being one of them, and we are just copying
Giving
slack
it to you,
from
I know.
everybody. And that was when New South Wales, they still lost the series, but they win a game in there or
Loving
something by the end of it. Yeah, it's
But
fucking awesome.
it's just the way you sort of the way I see it is that the tribalism that everyone gets around. Like it's instead of just like you've got 8 teams of Sydney and they're all hating each other. Like it binds together the Parramatta, the Penrith,
Yeah.
the Dragon supporters. Like
Yeah.
it all becomes this one big Sioux force. And same with Queensland with the Broncos, Cowboys, now the Titans and the Dolphins. Like it just it gels like a bigger demographic area.
It's crazy.
It's kind of like when you like, I know we always reference American sports, but it's kind of like how college is bigger than NFL because there's more people around that sort of support that one sort of thing. So, and I think that's why it's sort of Origin is one of the reasons why Origin's grown so big over the years.
The only time of year I talk slack on Tedesco or Crichton,
Is-
Roosters player that jumps into the New South Wales time. The only time of year I do not support them is Origin time. But I
I'm
love
the
that.
same.
Awesome, boys. We could talk about our love for Origin, but
All day.
But let's get into the teams now. We can go through the team list, but like I just want to sort of make some points on it. And what I've sort of noticed
smart.
is I think obviously Madge, it's a new era for the Blues, and I feel like that they've gone ahead and he's done what he said. He's picked players on form. Like Teddy was very unlucky, but like if you go across the park, every single player in there is playing very, very well. I mean, maybe one or two that I probably disagree with, but across the park. And then there's also some really, really good signs on the extended reserves and even the reserves are just like looking to the future of Queensland. We're missing a few players through Origin, obviously Cleary, Munster, the two biggest ones. The Queensland forward pack with Tino and Flegler. Even Tommy Gilbert missing, and then who's lining up right next to Payne Haas in the front row? It's the new captain, Jakey Dvojevic.
Sick. Love it.
There's so much alike from both teams.
Yeah. It's quite evenly matched, honestly. Like with these big outs, and everyone was like, "Oh no," but it makes these teams so evenly matched now. You lose these big players, and you come in, but the thing is, like, we can't forget these dudes are NRL players, and it's state of origin. Like they can show up at any moment. You know what I mean?
Everyone performs better at Origin.
It's origin. Like you put that jersey on, you become a whole nother person. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you're not the best halfback in the NRL. You could end up being one of the best Origin halfbacks of all time. You know what I mean? So it's a bit of fun, but I reckon it's going to be a very, very close series, especially with the way the teams have lined up.
I mean, I think it'd be easier to be on the end of a back line than be sort of like having to come up and step up in the halves.
Yeah.
Imagine just being on the end of like the 8 in a row Queensland back line and just catching balls and falling over the try line when Queensland win at 8 in a row. Like you'd be pinching yourself.
100%.
I.e. Darius Boyd.
Darius Boyd.
Or
What
the
a
old
guy.
Ben Hunt drop a few years back.
Wait, what do you mean? That was the grand
Broncos
final.
versus Cowboys, yeah.
Apologies.
I thought you were talking about.
Hey, what about
I'm just
the Benny Hunt runaway try?
Yeah, that was the only one I'm thinking about. The Benny Hunt try. That's what I think about when I think about Ben
I
Hunt.
actually found a video of that in my phone the other day.
Of you recording it?
Yeah.
No
Okay.
way.
I'm
game.
pretty sure it's that one.
You were at the game.
I was at the game.
That's sick. That would have been, the energy would have been off its head.
I'm pretty sure it's that one. I've got videos from that game, and I'm pretty sure I've got
Mate,
it.
send it to me.
Yeah, I'll find it. Yeah, obviously the Tom Dearden coming in for Munster. I think that was a bit of a no-brainer there.
Tommy Dearden, we trust.
Yeah, especially for the team he's coming from, how they played this year, and just his form. Like
His form was good.
The captaincy has done him really well, but
Yeah, he's very consistent.
there's I think the big talking points around New South Wales. The halves, obviously Nicho has been the informed half of the competition, and Luai is really he's been
Stepped up.
solid, but the last 2 games has really stepped up.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
I just my worry around Nicho is there's a calf strain, and then if he is ruled out, you're not going to bring in Burton to line up against Luai. Surely not.
Really?
You've got. I think you need the old head of Kiri to come in at 7.
True. No, actually, I think you're right.
I think it's going to sort of complement Luai
Yeah,
a little bit
a
better.
lot better.
But Burton and Luai have already played together, so that's complements
Oh,
itself.
they have 2 years when Cleary was out.
but as a 6 and a 3.
Nah, I think they did 6 and 7, maybe a couple of games when Cleary was out.
They still know how each other operate.
Yeah.
So I think they could still work well. But I'd be putting Kieran
in for sure.
But I've
yeah.
got no issue with Matty Burton coming in.
The thing that really stood out for me when I was looking at the teams was obviously the Sal and Cobbo thing on the bench. You know, in an Origin, you want a full forward pack on your bench a lot of the time, or even like at least a hooker. You know, tackling all day. But honestly, I like to play on Sal and Cobbo on the bench. You know, like we've seen, so many players go down on an Origin, and a player goes down in that back line. You're like, not you're done, but it affects you. You know, you saw it with Damien Cook in the centres. You saw it with Nicho Hynes when he played in the centres. You know what I mean? When a player goes down and you don't have an outside back to cover it, it hurts. And someone Cobbo can play so many of these positions. Maybe not as well as he can play, say, a wing or centre. But if you throw him in the second row, he could get the job done. You throw him at fullback, he'll get the job done. Winger, centre, you know what I mean? He could probably even play 5'8". You know, obviously not as amazing as another player, but he can still do it, like, well enough. So I just think he covers so many positions. And I actually really like the play by Billy Slater. I know it might affect the rotation, and, you know, people were saying they would rather Felice Kafusi, and I love Felice Kafusi, and you've seen him, you know, Finn Diesel putting on those big hits, and that's Origin type stuff. But I feel like if a player goes down, we'll be safe because Selwyn Cobbo is there.
Well, I think you could argue the same about Harry Grant, obviously not making the hooker position over Ben Hunt. But I think what Billy Slater's done, he's done more of an age preference for those two positions, where you've got two guys, Xavier Coates, obviously for Cobbo, and then you've got Ben Hunt in for at the hooker position instead of those two boys, because they played more games. They've got more experience under their belts. They can lead the team. They're backed up in the teams beforehand. I think that for Queensland is huge. That'd be a good start anyway. And it's good for Cobbo, obviously a young lad. What's this, his second Origin?
They obviously got knocked out in that Origin, which had him out for a while. But yeah.
I mean, it's still a learning curve for him, so he's still got a lot to do.
He's going to be exciting to watch.
It's
going
gonna be
to be
awesome.
exciting to watch no matter what, wherever he comes on.
Yeah, I like if you remember last year, the Cobbo thing on the bench, I don't understand why you wouldn't have someone like someone that can cover a bit more of the back line on your bench for New South Wales, because remember what happened last year and Damien Cook had to play in the centres,
literally, and that hurt them. And even didn't Nico play in the centres for a bit?
Well, I mean, even Ben Hunt being out in the field, he could play any of those
Yeah,
positions. You know what I mean?
true,
So you can
true,
interchange
true.
him and then
Harry
bring
Grant.
Yeah,
Cobbo-
but I'm
bring
saying
Cobbo onto the wing.
Yeah, but I'm saying Queensland's got it. New South Wales doesn't.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
That's the point. You basically have
Hudson
Cobbo
Young,
to,
apparently, they said.
Cobbo to cover the back five.
Yep.
You've got Harry to cover 9, 6, 7, and you've got the three other players on the Queensland bench. The two other players are covering any of the front or back row.
Well, Hopgood can go fade, as we know.
Even then,
this.
if you're running if you're running through injuries, Ben Hunt can pop in anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
he's not that fast. I'd put him at 9, 6, or 7.
yeah, and then you'd have
You're
Cobbo to
not going to play him
cover.
at 1, or 3.
Or no, but he can.
You go
Yeah.
Cobbo 1 to 5, and you go Hunt 6, 7, 9.
I'd rather throw like a Jermaine Hopgood out into the centres and
yeah.
and then bring bring Harry somewhere in and
Yeah,
around as
well-
a lock or a small forward, push Paddy forward.
Aren't they going to do that? Apparently, I heard Hudson Young could be that cover for the centres or
That's
whatever.
that's
the
my
idea.
thought around it.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's got speed, he can score tries, he can run lines. So, mate, Hudson Young's built for Origin. I don't know why they didn't push him out there last year and pushed out the hooker who I just said. Like
Damien
2 seconds.
Cook.
Damien
Very
Cook.
exciting,
Yeah.
mate. Very exciting game.
But it's going to be Jake as a captain. Jake just
Give
lives
him a
and
clap.
breathes
Give him a
rugby league.
golf clap.
Golf clap.
Mate, Jakey Dvojevic, he lives and breathes
He
rugby league.
deserves it, man.
His rugby IQ is he's a very, very smart man off field. If a lot of people don't know this, he is very, very intelligent.
And you can't not like him.
yeah.
You can't not like him, even as a like.
I mean,
he's
even
just
in
a good
even
guy.
in his interviews, he's very, very professional. But his game IQ, I think he's obviously learnt a lot being with Cherry as well at Manly, seeing how Cherry captains his crew. I think it's a very good choice of captaincy for New South Wales.
But when you look at Manly and you see that they need that rev up, Daly's not speaking. Jakey's coming over the top Jakey's actually taking charge and laying the law down and getting the boys revved up. Like, mate, he's built for captaincy, and obviously once Cherry Evans moves on from Manly, he will. But back to the backs.
Yeah.
If you look at the sort of centres and wing for New South Wales, you've got three very tall guys: Crichton, Suwali, Lomax. Sort of Xavier Coates has got a bit of height, but I think sort of they've got the height advantage. Is there going to be some high kicks, stuff like that coming? It's going to be is bombs going to be raining down on Queensland? Is that sort of the attack they're going to take?
I'm not sure. I think we're covered. I'm pretty confident in the skill of these players against. Yes, I know they're a lot taller and they can get those high balls, but I have a lot of confidence in the way that they can play it. And I don't see it affecting us too much to the point where we're like, oh, we're lost. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be good to see how they run their game plan and all that. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, she's pretty good under the high ball.
Yeah.
Coase can take high ball. Holmes can take high
Yeah,
balls.
Hammer, there's a fullback, he can take high ball, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and even with Nicho Hynes, his little chip through grubbers or his little chip throughs 5-10 meters out, I think are very, very strong. But our boys are pretty well covered. They can cover that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They're very good at what they do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I got a question for all of us. In that Blues team, who is the player that we're most scared of to play against?
Well, personally,
Who scares you the most? They get that ball and you're like,
it'd have to be either Crichton or Toto.
Yeah.
Toto on that wing, it's just a killer. He just runs through blokes.
Yeah.
Stephen Crichton though as well, just hitting those pivotal holes, and he can do so much.
Yeah,
he can
exactly.
step, he can flick, he can kick, he can chip.
and even with those chip shots right in the middle, he just jumps straight over everyone and gets it. And it is scary. My one, personally, it's Brian Toro. 100 meters away from the line or 10 meters away from the line, he's dangerous. You know what I mean?
100%.
The Blues, off his runs, it just changes the whole game. They could be back in the back right corner getting smashed by Queensland defense. Then you give it to To'o and he goes and makes 20 meters. And then it's like, okay, now we're on the front foot.
Right, he's running over the top of people every single time.
And then you do that, and like I said, 10 meters away, he gets the ball, and you've got 3 dudes defending. He gets that ball early. He breaks this tackle, and then he breaks the last one and scores. Like, it's just, I know there's stars all over the field, but every time Brian Tall gets the ball, as like when the Storm's playing against the Panthers or when the Maroons are playing against New South, it's always scary to watch.
Man, you got a crush on Toto.
Hey,
Oh,
it's that whole, it's a,
Earthquake.
yo. Anyway, I'm gonna go away from that. You guys obviously talking about the backs as a danger man for New South Wales. I'm going to say, maybe an unpopular opinion, I'm going to say Spencer Leniu. I think he's going to have a massive impact coming on.
I'll give that to him.
The man is just, he's going to get booed a lot.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely a lot. But, he's just got to, just cop it on the chin and run hard. And I think he's going to make a big impact, and he's going to pose a lot of problems, not just for the forward pack of Queensland, but like, can you imagine him like even just running it like Nanai and Valentine Holmes? Like that, I think there could be a try scored right there in between those two, because Nanai is great in attack, and so is Val Holmes when he's on. But their defense this year has been just absolutely terrible. So I think that's
Historically,
it.
though, their defense in Origin has been elite.
Very good.
Val Holmes, I mentioned this a few weeks ago, and we
Light
had
work.
the big debate, the underrated, overrated debate.
That's still getting a lot of traction. It's actually it's getting towards our most watched video on TikTok.
I love
No
that.
way.
So I was speaking to a friend about that the other day, and she completely agrees. She was like, "Yep, no,
He's
Val Holmes.
overrated.
Yep, no."
Mate, there's like 500 likes on that. Like, so many people. We've divided a nation on that. Like, mate, Val's probably like the biggest legend ever. Like, I've got nothing against Val Holmes whatsoever. I think I'm just like leaning towards like I would have loved to see, like, there's no Gagai there. I would have loved to see Selwyn Cobbo have that spot. And I mean, obviously, it is something for the future.
Yeah. Nah, one thing we haven't talked about is Fafita not making the team. What do you guys reckon on that?
I mean, I mentioned it a few weeks ago when we were naming our teams. He's a great player. Great player. Nothing by you. I got nothing against you. But I wouldn't put him in my team personally.
Yeah.
He's not that 80-minute player
Yeah.
that he's hyped up to be at the moment.
Yeah, I really I've been enjoying his form personally. Like, I think he's been really good, but I do get the not picking him. And, we never know. He could go to a whole nother level and really show us he is an Origin player. So, yeah, we'll be definitely seeing that over the next week. I think next week they've got game, and they got a bye round game as well. So, yeah, we're going to see that for sure.
I mean, the forwards in here that are in with us at the minute are all consistently playing
Jaden
so
Sewell's
well.
been really good, actually. Like, people were like, oh, no, he has been very, very good for the Dragons. So, yeah, going to be good to see him starting as that second row and just seeing him run those nice lines and hitting hard.
But I'm just keen to see Lindsay Collins score a try for Queensland, take his mouth guard out. You see his missing tooth, but that giant smile of his, bro.
Point at it. He should point at it when he scores.
Every time I see that, I go off my nut. I fucking love that, man.
Yeah, him up against Payne Haas. That's a good collision.
Yeah.
Just before we leave that, I just want to weigh in on the Fafita's. I think Fafita's form has been better this year.
Yeah.
But I think he obviously started the year with injuries, and he's a sort of impact player that comes in and out of the games. And I think the way of Billy's thought is he needs someone that can, if he has to, needs to go 80 minutes and not go missing.
Very true.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Yeah, sorry to jump off your bubble about your absolute love fest on Lindsay Collins there. But yeah,
Love
So,
fest.
man, I love Lindsay as much as he loves Toto or the May brothers.
yeah. Loves his
Give it
avocado
low-key, bro.
seeds. His avocado seeds. Remember when Brendan Smith went on about he's sticking avocado seeds up his bum?
Oh my god.
What?
That's what he said it on like.
When did I miss this?
Even Dave's like, "What is this? Where's this going?"
I just thought it was hilarious.
It is funny. It is funny.
It is very funny. We haven't spoken about probably the most important matchup. One of the most important matchups. McInnes up against Carrigan, 13s.
Yep.
Like both the guys absolutely live, breathe rugby league. They will put their body on the line. They stick their head where other people won't put their feet. They are just workhorses. They're 80-minute players. They're just passionate for their clubs, passionate for their states. Like that's the 13s are like. There's a bit of argument about why is AEO on starting on the bench, but right, mate, I like it. I
Him
absolutely
coming
like
off the bench as an impact freshie, he's gonna kill it.
I just think that Cam McGuinness is built for Origin.
I agree. Cam and Paddy Carrigan are the biggest man crush on Paddy Carrigan after he absolutely dropped Brooksy the other week.
Mate, you shouldn't have a crush on him for dropping a half.
I had a crush on him because he's the absolute man.
Mate,
he's a great leader. He's a good player. He's phenomenal at what he does.
I want to see him put Payne Haas on his ass. That's what I want to see.
That'd be sick.
Just
That'd be tough.
putting one on his mate.
I reckon he could do it.
Yeah, same.
Oh,
I reckon
100%.
we'll go
Put
for
him
it.
past it.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, boys, you got anything else on this? Obviously, we're a week out from Origin. It's exciting times.
Yeah.
By the time we put this up, it'll be a few days out. But yeah, there might be some changes. So I'm sorry if we missed some stuff on the potty. But yeah, it's the first game. There's so much Origin to come.
So excited.
The hype around this, like even game one, I remember our first podcast going back to game one, and we were hyping up players for Origin.
Last year.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Nah,
This
start
year,
of the
yeah,
potty,
yeah.
yeah.
Like
wonder
everyone
who
just
we
waits
had,
for
yeah.
Origin. We were just waiting for Origin. After those first few games, like those guys are Origin ready.
Yeah.
Even all the big boys upstairs at like Fox League were all saying these guys look Origin ready, or these players look
Yeah, Origin ready. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, the hype around this is real.
I'm
Excited.
I'm excited to see the wash up after Origin and see because you got to think like players like Mitch Moses are coming back. When's Cam Munster coming back? Like, is Kalen Ponga going to make it back for the third Origin? Like, I don't think he is.
I think they're still in the camp.
I think Munster and KP both won't be back. But
Yeah, but,
did you say
you know,
they might be in the camp? Did you
Like,
say?
I don't know.
He'd be around the
I don't
boys.
think so. Maybe. Who knows? Anyway, I'm done. I'm done for the day.
Mate,
GG's.
Exciting. Lots of podcasting stuff. Lots of
lot of
footy
hype.
stuff.
A lot of hype.
If you haven't already, subscribe, hit the notification button,
Yes.
comment on the YouTube video. Right down there, just comment. I don't care what you write.
Do it.
Give us hell if you want. Just say something, you cowards.
We did not
Oh,
consent to that. We did not consent to that.
we're just
Nah,
messing
feed,
around here.
feed,
Yeah,
feed.
Mate, I get fed a lot of things on TikTok, so who cares? Who cares?
The eye.
All right, just remember, say hi to your
The
mum for me.
mustache.
She absolutely loves it. Anyway, you boys done? I'm done.
Yeah, let's go get feed.
Absolutely.
And a
Say
coffee.
less. Oh, yes. Say less. Peace out. Yo, yo. Oh, got a big day ahead of me now.
Seamless.
Same.
Look.
That was clean. Sorry, my friend. That was
One little knock, bro.